do I even have to do a video on this? I guess so, because no matter what I claim, no matter how much testing I do and how much experience and knowledge I have in the entire NERF ecosystem, there are going to be a lot of people that just flat out don't believe me. And that's fine. You're liable to have your own opinions and everything like that, but I'm pretty sure this is the best pistol we have in the entire NERF ecosystem. I know this isn't technically a NERF blaster, but it shoots NERF darts, therefore it's a NERF blaster, but this is Worker's own Hurricane. And man, when this blaster was kind of shown off and announced, people did not like it for some reason. Yes, it looks absolutely stupid, and hopefully that's something Worker can fix in the very near future. It shouldn't even really be that hard, but they made a simple, small, compact design with virtually no fluff on it whatsoever. I mean, you could saw off some of the barrel, but don't do that, because the thing that I want to demonstrate today and what makes this the best NERF pistol you could possibly have requires about every inch of space in this blaster. But, okay, the stock Worker Hurricane with fresh AA batteries shoots so slow my chronograph can't even really detect it. Maybe into the 30s if you're lucky. It's worse than a stock blaster in almost every regard. For a kid, it's probably a good amount of fun, but for anybody else, not gonna work. No, not at all. So, if you happen to have a pair of IMR batteries, like a 3.7 volt AA size, I think they're 14500, 650, something, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. IMRs, Trustfire, stuff like that. Pop two of those in the sucker and you get around 90 to 100 FPS, which is pretty darn good. That right there pretty much validates the entire point of ever having a hammer shot, because not only does this thing pretty much spin up instantly and you get 6 shots with it, but it's semi-auto, so you can just rattle off whatever shots you need and be on your way. And then there's ways to go beyond that, because of course we have access to LiPOs if you're kind of well into the hobby like I am, and of course wiring this thing up with stock motors, stock flywheels, and a 3S LiPO, which I did in my original review, helped a lot. You got anywhere from like the mid-100s to the mid-110s, which was pretty darn usable in my opinion and well worth your time and investment. But of course there's upgraded wheels. You can buy these black wheels that have a slightly higher crush because they're slightly larger wheels, and that gets you a substantial upgrade into, well, even the 130s if you're lucky, depending on what kind of darts. All the darts I used in this test were the Adventure Force waffle darts, which are cheap, plentiful, and really good. But can we go beyond that? I mean, 130, 120 reliably, that's already into the zone of pretty much one of the best pistols we could have in the hobby. I mean, yeah, it's not a full auto dump truck like the rival Jupiter that Out of Darts made, but it's still pretty darn good. But yes, we can go beyond, we can go plus ultra. And that's where we get to the subject of today's video and my undying love for Meishel from Foamblast, because she decided to make a cage, a dual stage cage, 4 flywheels, 4 motors, for the Hurricane. Why? I have no idea. As far as I know, everybody else was talking crap about it, everybody else wrote it off. They were going to be throwing away their hammer shots, yet they were going to just stick with everything they know and love, and who needs the noisy flywheeler? What's the point? Oh, a couple of FPS more when you have flywheels that are noisy, why would I even bother? Well, Meishel decided to make the Category 5 Hurricane Cage. Clever, clever name, and I can't thank her enough, because that turns this blaster into, I kid you not, I think this is the most powerful flywheel blaster I own right now. It's more powerful than the Worker Dominator that has 3 flywheel cages. That's not a joke. And while it might not be the cheapest way of getting into these kind of almost 200 FPS ranges, it's darn close. I think the only thing that will really beat this is going to be like Eclipse cage and Eclipse wheels and a bright sunny day and your lucky color being on your horoscope and you're wearing it. I mean, you'd have to be pretty freaking lucky to get that high. But it's not going to be in something this size, because it's tiny. It's absolutely, completely compact. And you can hit 180, 190 FPS with it. Again, and that's not even probably with the optimal darts. I'm just using whatever darts I normally use, what I would buy and bring to a war, and it hits that. And it's reasonably accurate too, no fishtailing. This is the best thing ever. I really don't understand how anybody could disagree with me. Yes, it's not full auto. Yes, it doesn't hold 100 darts unless you have the 3D printed mag adapter and you want to have a giant mag on the top of this thing. But 180, 190 FPS semi-auto in a form factor like this, 6 shots, but the reload is rather easy, and you know, this doesn't take up all that much room in your pack. You can carry quite a few of them. It's kind of hard to beat that. It's very hard to beat that, and all you really need is the 3D printed cage, 4 Fang ReVamp motors, which are readily available from a variety of sources, 4 or 2 sets of the worker high crush wheels for the Hurricane, a Hurricane, a LiPo 3S1, and some soldering and, you know, basic soldering skills. It is it's not the most straightforward of mods. You do actually have to grind out a bit of plastic because you need every millimeter of room in this thing, or you're probably going to short out your LiPo on the motor can and destroy a LiPo like I did. That wasn't fun. But this is the 3rd one of these I've built, and the other ones also hit just as hard. But the key to making it hit that maximum velocity is overvolting the Fang ReVamp motors. Will that last forever? Because those are a 2S motor, we're overvolting them. Probably not, but you also shouldn't be using this thing enough to warrant needing to worry about the motors going out. In fact, oh, it's got a tiny grip. How are you going to fit a LiPo in there? Well, you use a tiny LiPo, like a 500 to 850 milliamp hour LiPo. You can also get some ones that you can put a 3D extended thing on it, but that looks dumb, in my opinion. I don't like that at all. I like this, and I will never need another blaster, and that's not a joke. I'm the kind of person that likes the artificial limitations, but I also like having something that just does something better than everything else, and quite frankly, this does it. Like, yes, I could technically get like a brushless, you know, Strife dual stage thing that hits 230, 240 easy. That is entirely possible. I could also have Springer pistols, like, you know, Chris Cartea's Bird of Prey or something like that, that also hits like 250. It doesn't really matter, though, because what you get past like the 170, 180 mark, you have to make custom darts to even have the accuracy to hit targets at that range. And yes, you can do it, but you're getting severe diminishing returns. This is a clear step up. It's cheap, readily accessible, hits like a freaking freight train, and best of all, is absolutely tiny. There's not a single loadout that I can't recommend having this as a secondary, or at least a sidearm. A little holster, like somebody needs to make a really good holster for this, because they would be my savior, and you can dual wield them if you really needed to. 12 darts, 170 to 190 FPS. Why am I even still talking? What more explanation do you need? Yes, there are things that are full auto. Yes, there are things that will have more ammo. Well, it depends entirely on your skill as a player and what position you're playing and exactly what situation you're in. There's rarely going to be a point where I don't think that this is the best sidearm or pistol you could have in the entirety of NERF. I really honestly don't think anything can top this. Even if you had like an HPA pistol, you're going to be really, really struggling to get something in this form factor without having a stupidly long barrel to handle the HPA pressure. And again, this is full-length darts. This isn't even like the normal like step-in darts that people would use, half-size darts. This is reasonably accurate with full-length darts at 190 FPS. And I think it can only get better. Like, now that this video goes on, I hope more and more people start tinkering with this kind of stuff, because this blaster should be ubiquitous in the near future. I'm really hoping that not only a lot of these come out, but hopefully some ideas are taken from this blaster and it just goes beyond all reason into the best thing that has ever happened to pistols in the NERF hobby. I'm a huge fan of pistols, and now I have one where it's like, if I want to use a literal hand cannon, yes, I only have 6 shots, unless I have, you know, multiple things to reload, but that's all I'm probably going to need. But of course, this hobby is one of a huge community with a lot of people with a lot of different opinions, and I'm very much open to somebody proving me wrong. I think this is about as good as it can get, especially in terms of cost, form factor, capacity, power, accuracy. This is pretty much as good as I'm willing to say NERF pistols could possibly ever be. But let me know what you think down in that comment section below. I would love to have a healthy discussion with people. and get some real opinions in on what you think is better and why do you think it's better. Because this is sub $100 for everything in here. Like, I know that's a lot of money for a blaster. $100 is not cheap, but I have to reiterate, it's cheap for semi-auto 180 FPS, and it happens to be this big. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much to Meishel from Foamblast for making the cage for this monstrosity. I couldn't be happier. And of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different video. I'm gonna be talking about this thing, hopefully, for many, many months to come.
You gotta up,